As we've just heard, Dame Vivienne Westwood has sadly died at the age of 81. The pioneering fashion designer made a name for herself on the fashion scene back in the 70s with her androgynous designs, slogan T-shirts and irreverent attitude towards the establishment. Right, we obviously have chatted to the panel with their thoughts, but joining me now is Dr. Lisa McKenzie, who was a regular attendee of Vivienne Westwood's parties. Lisa, welcome along. Thanks for doing this at such short notice. Must be a very sad day for you if you obviously knew her well.
I found out about 20 minutes ago, actually, and I'll be honest, I actually feel very, very sad. But can I just say that although Vivienne, I worked with her on a project that she did called Intellectuals Unite. And for the last 10 years, at least the last 10 years that I've known her of her life, she was very committed to political activism. And I think as much as, you know, obviously she was a fantastic fashion designer and she changed culture in Britain, but she was also deeply interested in politics as well, and particularly around politics about inequality, climate change. You know, she was so much more, I think, than what we can encapsulate. I'm still trying to process really about how important she's been to our country, actually.
Well, the lovely thing is she always did it with a smile and that Union Jack as well. She was very proud, it seemed, of our country. I mean, her shop, Sex, is actually just down the road from actually where I live on the King's Road, and it's still there with that clock turning backwards day after day after day.
She was actually, she was a patriot. She actually was a real patriot. Yeah. And she cared deeply about Great Britain. And I mean, I used to have debates and arguments with her about that. And she did give me, I don't know if you can see, but she gave me this badge once a few years ago. And it says, you know, politicians are all criminals. And, you know, so she got a really wicked sense of humour as well, particularly around, you know, the things that she cared deeply about. I think, you know, I'm just really starting to think about what an important person actually she was to the country. I think we really have lost a great Britain today.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah, definitely a Great Britain. And, you know, if you think back in the 70s, you know, to the present day, you know, we are talking, you know, 56 years since the Sex Pistols, no, 55 years since the Sex Pistols, incredibly. And all that time, you know, the legacy she leaves of fashion and being slightly irreverent and being slightly anti-establishment is one that actually has trailblazed around the world, doesn't it? I've
got to say, I mean, slightly. She was very anti-establishment. She kind of was both. She was both things. She had a real respect for the royal family, but at the same time was very critical about inequality, particularly in Britain. You know, one of the things that I worked with her on was something called Intellectuals Unite, and she was absolutely committed in trying to get people to read and to think critically about life and about the way that power works. You know, she was absolutely. We did a meeting once about the book Pinocchio, and she'd read Pinocchio, the book Pinocchio, and she said it's so profound. It's about, you know, it's about capitalism, it's about society, it's about inequality. And we had a meeting about Pinocchio. She was an incredible woman, really was.
Okay. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts on what is a very sad day, and we'll hear more about this story at 10 o'clock. That was friend of Vivienne Westwood, Dr. Lisa McKenzie. Thank you very much indeed.